view here is the 800 West Broadway project that was completed a couple years ago. The first floor in this project involves both the Minneapolis School District, the deed, and North Point Clinic. They've gone back and it's been open. I think it's been vibrant and very important to the north side. The school district has changed its concept in the educational center a couple of times since they opened. Originally, it was going to be a program to help 11th and 12th graders transition to college programs. Now, because of just some constraints on the school district, it's more of a adult learning center. The Hennepin deed is still very active, I think, and North Point is very committed and active to the project. On the first floor, there is a little bit of retail. We could never find the great restaurant that Tim is going to bring to the neighborhood, so we're counting on Tim to bring it to the south side of the street. But PPL did take that corner space, so all of the commercial space in the building is leased. Obviously, during some of the turbulent times, it was boarded up for a while. There was some vandalism done to it, but for the most part, this building escaped a lot because it's a community building and not in, I think people recognize the community services that we offer. Just generally, we've been always struggling a bit with parking for the building. It had no parking when it was built. We've been working with the church next door and with 800 West Broadway to provide adequate parking. We're still hopeful that someday we can provide some more parking across the street at Cub Center. The tenants at one time were looking at reducing in size last year. I think the city and this the whole community has stepped up to convince them to continue their commitment to provide services. And I think there are monthly meetings with this very committed group of service providers, and we're very much trying to keep them focused on providing the necessary services, jobs, education, and healthcare. A couple other projects that we're involved in on West Broadway. There's a housing project called Broadway Curve that is located about 8 blocks to the west. It's a parcel that's been owned by the city for quite a while. We expect groundbreaking on that to occur in January, closing in December. It will involve affordable housing and townhome, larger family housing on a strip, West Broadway, that has been vacant for quite some time. It's well known as the Broadway Curve. It's where the curve occurs on West Broadway, just west of this site. In about 54 it's actually about 60 housing units, and that all the financing for that has been obtained, and we are simply working through the final city finance documents for the TIF approval. That was part of the original application request. There is a good chance that will close in December, just timing wise for the city. In addition to that, on 800 West Broadway, where Tim has a great restaurant. I actually think it's a fabulous restaurant. We've been working with our tenants after the riots to rebuild and reopen. It's been slow. I hope that the North Memorial Clinic did reopen fairly quickly, but they will be moving. They will no longer be at that center in about 1.5 years. U.S. Bank is entering into a long-term lease with us to stay on West Broadway. That's important as part of their financial commitment, I guess, to N.E.O.N, others. This is about the only bank left on West Broadway. But they will be resizing their facility, but they will be committing to another 10 to 15-year lease as part of that. Some of the other tenants are opening up slowly, and we have been working with them to try and get as many of them opened up by the fall of this year. We think those that, at the end of the day, I think we'll be releasing about 15,000 square feet of the 60,000 square foot center as a result of both the COVID issues and the the issues that resulted from the riots. So there is a releasing program that's going on. We are also working on a fairly significant refurbishment of that center. It's now approaching 35. It's built in 1985, so it's approaching almost 35 years. And we're working on, a $3 to $5 million refurbishment of it, and trying to make sure that it stays, as an attractive amenity for the West Broadway business community. And then finally, many of us on this are working with the city overall on just trying to rebuild Minneapolis. And I think everybody who's involved on this conference is critical for that. I meet and I talk to the mayor's staff weekly about raising funds for rebuilding West Broadway, and about lobbying our legislators for U.S. Bank coming through was important. We had ongoing conversations about their presence on West Broadway and their commitment to it. But we're trying to make sure that there are funds adequate for minority businesses and for using property owners to rebuild. And I think we're working as closely with the city staff and our legislative staff to try and make raise a significant amount of money to see the rebuilding on West Broadway. Those are all happening by phone calls. And obviously, the legislature is tough right now. There are more private commitments coming.